Banks are pushing us to go cashless. Let's have a look. Good evening, everyone. Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Got my evening stein of coffee, and I hope you're all having a good Friday. Got a rum in your hand, relaxing, ready for the weekend. And I thought we'd just have a quick look at this article from news.com.au because, well, I think there's a few takeaways from it. So the pandemic has changed the way Australians are using cash forever. And we're going to start seeing more and more of these articles appearing. More and more discussing just the move and push away from using cash. Now we've got the cash ban pushing us away from using cash for large transactions. And I have got a very all-encompassing argument why there's this constant push to get away from cash. Very simple. One reason: to make money. It's cheaper for the banks. It's easier for the government to track your spending, track your income, to get more tax out of you. It's cheaper if you're cashless. They don't need to drive trucks of cash around. Moving it is instantaneous, virtually, very cheap. You don't need security. None of those issues. You don't need to maintain those annoying ATMs. And look, now, thanks to coronavirus, we're not using cash as much. So we might as well just get rid of those ATMs. I feel sorry for those people that have invested in those little $10 and $20, the ATM machines where you go and you pay like $2 when you get out $20. Normally they're sitting at a pub or somewhere. They're a great investment to make money because usually after a few drinks you don't care, you pay the $2. But the thing is, they're right here. People are making a change. People are making a change just because it's convenient. Just because it's convenient and easy. They're willing to accept the extra transaction costs. They're willing to accept being tracked and it being monitored because it's convenient. Do you use Apple Pay? I've got my iPhone that I've got somewhere, and there's still a little red exclamation mark. It's telling me I haven't finished setting up my phone. And I'm going, what do you mean? I've done everything. I'm looking at it. Oh, I haven't set up Apple Pay. It wants me to set up Apple Pay. So my phone's complete. Because I won't do it. It's never complete. Never set up. They want to get a slice of the pie. Let's have a look. The boss of Australia's biggest banks has said there will be a change in the way we use money not seen since the Spanish flu pandemic. Australia's biggest bank has detected a trend in its customers not seen since the pandemic of 1918. And while we may eventually drift back to old banking habits, such as heading into branches, the pandemic might have changed one financial mainstay forever. Commonwealth Bank Chief Executive Officer Matt Comyn said that it was unlikely we would ever use cash again in the same way. So then, why do we need the cash transaction ban? If we're not using cash, why do we even need to bother? I mean, the whole purpose, the argument behind that, was apparently based on some town hall meetings, and some people were whinging that competitors were getting an advantage for charging cash. Really, when you look at the number of people that would have gone, the number of events and the number of people that would have gone to those events, it's a little disturbing that can be used to justify such radical changes to our liberties. From one day to the next, something that is legal can be made illegal. And our members in the House of Representatives, most of them didn't even know what they were voting for. They weren't even in the room to hear the concerns of the politicians. So there are rumours that it's been defeated, but still, not sure, not until we see an official announcement. When the pandemic began, there was widespread concerns that cash could be one of the surfaces where the virus could be picked up from. The World Health Organization has never issued a specific warning against using coins and notes, but the body has advised people to wash their hands, particularly after touching surfaces and objects, which would include money. Well, yeah, that's common sense. And if you're worried about money, just put it under UV light. Put it in a plastic bag, put it out in the sun. There you go. Leave it there for a couple of hours. You'll be fine. That's it. That's the way to mitigate it, right there. The World Health Organization has I've already read that. Speaking to news.com.au, on the sidelines of a bank event yesterday, he said, in the first few weeks of the pandemic, CBA, perhaps counterintuitively, saw increased amounts of cash being withdrawn from ATMs and branches. The conclusion was Some nervous customers were looking to squirrel away physical money. Exactly. Well, I would bet a lot of the people that watch this show, I hope, made sure they had some cash on hand just in case there were issues with the banking system or there was a run on the bank. We all saw what happened in the bushfire. What happened when good old Australians didn't have cash? They started robbing shops. But since that initial blip, fewer people have been using branches, ATMs, and putting cash in their wallets. Well, probably, and here's the theory, because they've all been locked at home and haven't had to spend any money. Or they took a whole lot of cash out and they're using that. We've seen an acceleration of a number of different factors which include both switching to digital and increasing cash levels, he said. It's been quite a significant reduction in cash levels. It's like during the Spanish flu pandemic when there was a big reduction in cash handling. The 1918 flu was the most severe in recent history. Would you call 100 years recent? Mr. Cummins said that some of the people who had to let go of using cash likely wouldn't go back to using it to the same extent, even when infection concerns fade. I suspect cash will rebound somewhat, but clearly more and more people prefer to pay electronically, and I can't see it returning back to the previous cash levels. So this is where he says, government wasting time implementing things like the cash transaction restrictions, we can save all those resources. Electronic payments are absolutely going to continue to grow. I mean, that's right. That's common sense. It may not be the smartest thing. You don't get particularly when you're trying to save, getting the physical pain of handing over some money is quite a smart way to manage your spending. The use of coins and notes has been in decline for some time, with Australians some of the most enthusiastic adopters of tap-and-go payments globally. Recent data from the Reserve Bank of Australia has shown the number of ATM withdrawals reduced from 75 million a month in 2008 to less than 50 million last year. But when the pandemic struck, ATM transactions fell off a cliff to less than 25 million in March. Yes, because we're all at home. We're all at home. I'm having camera problems today, everyone. I really am. In 2007, 75% of transactions were done with cash making up almost half the value of all purchases. Last year, cash made up little more than a quarter of transactions, amounting to around 20% of the dollar figure of purchases. And the banks would love that. That would reduce their costs so much. So much. You'd hate to be in the cash transfer business. Prior to the pandemic, the driving force behind recent reductions in cash usage was contactless payments for small value purchases such as coffees. Although many people have no qualms about moving over to card and phone payments, older Australians in particular still prefer to use physical cash, as do households on low income. Money is also resilient and still functions fine even if banks' IT systems go down. Exactly. That's the other issue that we have here. You can see by numbers and by value. It's heading down. So these arguments about, restricting cash for large payments, there's so few of them that happens. It's pointless. I think the argument, it really is just to save money for the banks and to save money and to allow greater taxation revenue by the government. That's my theory. So savings soar. He also said savings by households has seen a huge spike as people tucked money away. People are becoming more cautious, and that's understandable and rational to have a savings buffer, and would expect that to continue for a period of time. So my hopes that people are saying having a never again moment and doing a turnaround and are actually stepping up. They're actually stepping up and putting savings aside for the long term. Will Australians come out of this with savings, with a rainy day fund? Could this be a turn in the page of Australians? People will spend money when they have more confidence about their individual picture and confidence about their job. He said there'd been signs of the economy picking up from the April and May lockdowns, but Melbourne going back into restrictions had pulled that back. We were feeling quite good. There were better than expected levels of spending activity, and we could see people in increasing numbers return to the workforce. The number of our customers getting job seeker was reducing. There is no doubt Melbourne is a setback. Nevertheless, the CBA boss said he supported the government's suppression strategy and said elimination was practically very difficult to achieve. Well, this is the thing, the discussion about elimination. You're essentially turning into North Korea. You're isolating your whole country. You're becoming, a hermit kingdom. I don't think that could happen in Australia. I just don't think it could happen. Every state shut down from every other. Every city shut down from every other. The international borders completely no permeability, no trade at all. If someone comes over on a ship and gets it, it's not possible. We should be using this time to ensure we have adequate facilities to deal with this, to treat the people. Deploy emergency extra facilities at hospitals. Convert some wards that aren't needed over to ICU capacity. We'll have to see. But, another push, more articles about going cashless. What do you think, everyone? Do you think my argument that it's all just, to save money and get more taxes? Are you a fan of it? Are you rushing to get your Apple Pay? Or are you going to keep using good old-fashioned cash? As always, thank you for watching. Please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and want to support us, there are a few ways you can. You can join the channel on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or Kucoin. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, and I'll see you next time.